Today's show is brought to you by State Farm. Agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm, home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to preface this entire video by saying the following. The White Sox are still in first place. They're still winning games. They're still dominant in every aspect of baseball right now. And despite all of the drama surrounding Tony La Russa, guess what? They're still winning. You could attribute that success to the players and not the manager. But the fact remains that the formula that they have right now, that includes manager, players, front office, they've all converged, they're all coming together, and they're all winning. I want to make sure everybody understands that before we get into the controversy. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a baseball traditionalist, and not ashamed to say that. Not a big fan of bat flips. Not a big fan of the players who do the bat flips, to see them turn around and wonder, hey, why am I getting plunked the next time I come up to bat? Not a fan of showboating or celebrating. I'm a fan of playing the game the right way. I understand that is not the popular view anymore. But playing with integrity means something to me. It may not mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me. Playing the game the right way. What Yermin Mercedes did was not wrong. That's a fact. As a traditionalist, I'll say, not wrong to do it. Think about this for a second. How long did it take him to make it to the major leagues? How long did it take him to earn a spot in the lineup daily? Hell, if it wasn't for Eloy Jimenez getting hurt, who knows if we'd even see Mercedes this early in the season? Probably not. So I am of the philosophy that if you make it, do your best. There's no reason why you should give half effort at any time in a game. I don't care what the score is. I don't care what the inning is. I don't care what the situation is. Position, pitcher, pitching, who cares? Play as hard as you can always. See, that's an unwritten rule too. You're supposed to give max effort all the time. The minute you don't, that's a problem. So there's no reason why hitting a home run should be condemned. There's no reason why the Twins should have been mad. It's not the White Sox's fault that you put in a position player to pitch that late. Oh, and by the way, we should all be impressed that Mercedes hit a home run. Do you understand how hard it is to hit a home run when the ball's coming in at 50 miles an hour? It's so easy to hit home runs in baseball because of the velocity of the pitch. The harder it comes in, when contact is made, the further it's going to go. That's just basic knowledge, common knowledge. So when you have a looper coming in at 50 miles an hour and you power up and actually hit it out of the ballpark, that's skill, talent, should be celebrated. And that's something everyone glossed over. That should show how talented Yermin Mercedes is. That he's able to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball and a 50-mile-per-hour one and deposit both of them into the outfield seats. Not many players could do that. You know why Jamie Moyer worked in baseball? He threw so damn slow. Why he pitched when he was 49 years old, throwing 75-mile-per-hour fastballs, and no one could time him up. Won a couple of games. No one in the majors is equipped to hit slow pitching. All they're taught is catch up with the fastball. You should be able to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. But hitting slow pitches is a skill. And unfortunately in baseball, because no one throws slow anymore, it's underappreciated. So the fact that Mercedes turned around, said, "Watch me," and went yard, center field, deep, should be celebrated. Now, I understand La Russa wasn't happy, more so because he didn't obey the sign. And that's, again, the thing people keep forgetting. This doesn't have anything to do with the unwritten rules. This has something to do with disobeying an order. You were told, don't swing. Why'd you swing? I don't blame him for that. I don't. He's the manager. I don't care how old he is. I don't care if he could be your grandfather. The point is, he's the manager. If he gives you an order, you would think you'd listen. Told him, take this, Yermin, and he hit it out. That makes sense. I'm not defending La Russa. I'm just saying I understand where he's coming from. I do. As someone who played baseball for a while and had a college offer, I understand it. You're supposed to obey your manager. Whatever they tell you, you do. That's it. Even if it looks wrong, they're the ones who have to wear the blame, not you. If a third base coach makes a mistake, sends you when you shouldn't have been sent, it's not your fault. The blame goes on him. Same philosophy with the managers. So, because Mercedes disobeyed, that's why there's a problem. It has nothing to do with unwritten rules at first. It turned into that, but at first it was disobedience. That's the problem that initially started this whole thing. La Russa made it worse. As a La Russa supporter, he did make it worse, I'll admit it. Why are you apologizing to Minnesota for hitting a home run? Why is it a problem for your team to do your job at the plate? Especially when they trot out a position player to pitch late in the game. Why is that a problem? Why is that an issue? That was in poor taste. There should not have been an apology. La Russa just should have said he disobeyed a sign, and there might be consequences. Done. There didn't need to be an apology. There didn't need to be this big old press tour. None of that needed to happen, and it would have been okay. But because La Russa was very honest about the situation and probably divulged more than he should have, the press latched on. Twitter, Instagram, everybody blew up about it, and now it's turned into such a big thing. Now, here's the best part. Last night, Yermin Mercedes had a ball thrown behind him. Everybody reacted. Everybody was mad. You understand that that is going to happen, right? See, fans could go back and forth all they want about what's best for the game. The fact of the matter is, you're not playing the game. Players are. You could say it's bad for baseball. You could say it's old school, boomer, outdated, but you're not playing the game. You have no control over what pitchers do or players. So I was not surprised when Mercedes was targeted. And it caused such a big overreaction, in my opinion. He wasn't hit. He wasn't harmed. There was no aiming for the head. If he aimed for the head, I'd say that's a big problem. Didn't aim for the head. Threw behind him, sent a message. It would have been over. You know, no one reacted the way they did. If Mercedes just stepped out of the box and said, okay, I understand, let's keep playing, nothing would have happened. But because it got everybody riled up, because what La Russa said the day before was in everyone's heads, it got very bad. And now we're at a point where people are saying it's time to cut La Russa, there should be a mutiny, get rid of him. What did I say to open up this show? They're still winning. They're still winning. Something's working. And you could say they have a lot of talent and the manager has nothing to do with it. Why weren't they doing this last year with Rick Renteria? There did need to be a change. They're the best team in baseball right now. So if you're saying, oh, they could be better with somebody else, how much better would they be, realistically? How many games did Tony La Russa blow, straight up blow, for this team this year? Not many. Best record in baseball. Lead the AL Central. You may not like his tactics. You may not like his philosophy. But until they lose, I don't see a problem with him. I really don't. If they start losing, if this turns into a locker room catastrophe, everyone's mad, there needs to be a change, they're losing, I get it. Fire him. I mean, look at some of these articles. The White Sox should be ashamed of Tony La Russa. This one sounds a lot like the old man yells at cloud meme. We all debated the hiring would backfire. How did it backfire? I'm asking. How did this backfire? I'm not saying this was handled correctly, but I am saying, despite all of this, injuries, drama, they're still winning. And until there's a reasonable cause to fire him, you can't do it. It would make no sense to fire La Russa when you're the best team in baseball. Now, if they start dropping games, if the locker room can't get it together, you'll have to make a move. It'll be a shame, but you have to make that move. As a La Russa supporter, I do not support him apologizing to Minnesota. What do you have to apologize for? Hey, it's not your fault they put in a position player to pitch. And by the way, again, talent on Mercedes' part. They had a 50-mile-per-hour fastball 400 feet. That should be celebrated. I would be more concerned if there was no effort. That's another unwritten rule. Not even, it's just a rule. 100% effort all the time. So by sitting there and cowering down late in the game, oh, it's 16-4, who cares? No. Always put in 100%. I have no issue with the homer. I have an issue with the apology. I just feel La Russa was too honest with everybody. Handle this stuff internally. You're a team. There should be no issue with this. Handle it internally. Do it the right way. You know, the best coaches, whenever there's a problem with the team, it's always done inside the locker room. Why did this need to be handled publicly? I didn't get that. I still support La Russa. Until they start losing, I'm still going to support him. But what he did here was a mistake. 100% a mistake. I can't defend that at all. If things start going the wrong way, if the locker room breaks up and splinters, then you know it's time to fire him. And it's still early enough in the season. We have to wait a couple of weeks here. Let's see how everybody reacts to this, the players. If there's a problem and it's June 1st, June 7th, whatever it might be, and the Sox have gone from best team in baseball to 500, fire him. Bring in somebody else who could salvage the season and probably still be okay by August or September. If they keep winning, everyone needs to understand there is no cause to fire him. You may not agree with his philosophies, the way he coaches, the way he manages a game, but if they're winning, there's no reason to do it. You can't fire an employee without cause. You can't just say, you're fired, I don't like you, goodbye. No. There has to be probable cause. And in this case, the cause would be the Sox slip, this whole thing becomes a big catastrophe, and everything needs to change. But until then, you're going to have to deal with it and suck it up. Everybody will. This was a mistake, partially, and everyone needs to move on. This is a team matter. It's internal. It should stay that way. And it's best, I think, for everybody if this stuff doesn't get out as much. Exposing this in public, having this play out in the public sphere, that didn't help anybody. Made it 10 times worse. Had you just had an internal meeting and told the media we had a meeting, it's over, that's it. That's it. It would have been fine. But because you turned around and told everybody, I don't like this, and we apologize to Minnesota, come on. Really? Don't apologize for your guy hitting a home run. That's not right. There's a double standard, right? As a manager, you always want the best out of your player. But you tell them in this specific instance, don't try. That makes no sense. And my hope is that this gets resolved internally. Everybody could let bygones be bygones and move on. It's still early. A lot of time left. I still believe the Sox will win with La Russa. They still have. Every indication has said so far they still will. I still support him as manager, but this was a mistake, and you have to call him out. When people make mistakes, whether you like them or not, they're mistakes, and they have to be held accountable. The good thing is, once again, Sox still in first place, still winning, still dominating, still a great team, still a legitimate World Series contender, despite all of this. So I think it's best for everybody to move on, to let it go, and to focus on the game. Not the rules and the traditions and, no, the game. What are we going to do to win today? Not, it's 16-4, why'd you hit a home run? Let's focus on the intangibles of the game, the ins and outs. How are you going to win today? Let's strategize. Let's talk about that stuff. Why do we need to talk about hitting a home run in a 16-4 game? That doesn't make any sense. Why? For what reason? What good will that do anybody? And obviously, as we've seen, it's done no good. This hasn't been good. It's been a PR nightmare. Let this be a lesson to Tony La Russa. Even if his philosophies you don't agree with, next time, if he's in a situation like this, don't say it publicly. Don't come out and do this. Don't let everybody know what's going on inside the clubhouse. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And for all of you who've said, oh my goodness, my fears are confirmed, what fears? They're still winning. Until they start losing, until they drop out of first place and they're 500 and chaos has erupted, your fears have not come to fruition. You could be mad that you don't like his philosophies, that he's old, but what fears? What? That the Sox weren't going to be good? They're great. They're winning. You can't say that either. That's just false. Simply false. It'd be different if they were losing. They're winning. No need to complain. We'll see how this all plays out. Was La Russa wrong to an extent? Yes. At the end of the day, though, I don't see this being too much of a problem. I see this being a problem to the new generation of baseball fans, but I don't see this being a problem when it comes to the team's overall success. And when the Sox win the World Series, I would hope that everybody lets this go. And if they don't, then you know they aren't true fans. And they'd rather see somebody else in the position and see their team win. And to me, that's a problem. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Bob Nightingale comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You get about $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Plus, Bears prop bets. How many games will Justin Fields play? How many touchdowns will he throw? What's their record going to be? This is a great time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.